sure that everybody is hearing lots of and reading lots of news about the banks and the overall situation with this industry. And not everything is good news in this day and age. In today's video, I'm going to talk about offshore banking and what to expect from it in 2024. Hi, my name is Sudan. I have been working for Nomad Capitalist for more than 3 years, and as a whole, Nomad Capitalist has opened more than thousands of bank accounts all over the world. So with this expertise, I'm going to tell you the news and trends of offshore banking in 2024. The first thing that I want to do is establish a distinction between transactional banking and wealth management banking. And in the first part of this video, we are going to be talking about transactional banking and the upcoming changes and the trends that we are seeing in this field. The first trend that I can easily detect, and we are doing, I think that one of the most prominent part of my job and the job of the research and development team of Nomad Capitalist is to make sure that we look through and research new banking opportunities and are very much in tune with the trends and updates in that field. Because you cannot provide any plan to any client, you cannot really help them change anything in their business or personal life unless you provide also the solution for their banking infrastructure. So it's like the research that never stops. So that is why we wanted to record this video and share recent updates and information and the trends that we are seeing by working in this field as of now. The first thing that we notice, and it's not news in the industry, and we are seeing high decrease in privacy. If we go back a couple of decades ago, banking was a bit more private. You didn't have this many regulations. Banks were the account numbers were hidden, account names were hidden, and there was no reporting requirements for any bank to any jurisdiction, or it was, but very limited, and they could they had more freedom not to provide the information, or they were asked for less information. And it's not the case anymore. We're increasingly seeing the requirements being more strict, and the banks are put in a situation where they have to share all the information, lots of information, a lot more than previously, with different governments, and not only their own government in the jurisdiction that they are functioning in, but also in the region or in the worldwide, pretty much, because lots of information about this is becoming international, and banks and tax agencies in different countries are working together to make sure that they can double check things from different angles. With that, the trend of seeing decrease in privacy, we are also seeing the trend in increasing the compliance and reporting requirements, and that is something that is felt and seen on different levels. So this can be something that the banks need to provide, and because the banks need to provide this information to different government agencies or international agencies, it means that also the customers, the ordinary people, also have to provide this information to the bank. So it means that you have to disclose a lot more details about yourself and your business or your activities than before. And this is really because of increase in reporting requirements, we see the decrease in privacy. It's very difficult to maintain lots of things with banks private right now. The prominent thing that we can that comes to mind about this topic is Common Reporting Standard and also FATCA, Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. So basically, these are the documents. FATCA is for the US, where the US banks are obligated to provide information to the Revenue Service about the bank accounts held there, and they also require foreign banks to disclose information about US persons holding bank accounts in other countries with the banks there. And this is increasing mostly, and we expect it to increase a lot more as well. The next trend that is also been happening is difficulty in opening a bank account. So previously you could just walk into a bank. It doesn't matter if you were a resident or a citizen of the country, you just could walk in and open the bank account. And it's not the case now. You can still open the bank account, but it requires a lot more information from your end, a lot more documents that you need to provide, and physically you may not have all the documents with you. So it's not a spontaneous thing you can do. It's more you need to plan it, you need to research it, and you need to know exactly what needs to be done in that regard. So I think that it's becoming a bit more difficult to open the bank account. This is both on personal and business banking side. It doesn't mean that it's not like possible or there are no options, but it takes a lot more preparation and a lot more from you. And it's not only about the documents, it's a bit more expensive than before. Like, you may be required to maintain a minimum balance of 1 million for a bank, or the fee to like even review your case can be pretty much high or higher than you would expect for a bank account. One other thing that also has been increasingly been mentioned in this regard is the fact that you may be also required to have some kind of a connection to the country that you are opening a bank account, in contrast to previously where you didn't need to have any connection to the country. You could just open a personal bank account, for example, and now it's not the case. In connection to this topic, we can also say that remote account openings is also, it's becoming a bit more difficult. Some banks much more prefer to speak to a person in person, so they want to verify your identity in person, so can be non-negotiable in certain cases. So this means that it's going to be a bit more expensive for you to travel to the country, or this means that it's going to take you more time to do this. So I think that this is also a common trend that we are seeing with the account openings, where remote opening is not as accessible for everybody as it was before. Now let's talk about wealth management and the trends that we are seeing there. I would say it's slightly different than transactional banking, because wealth management banks need to be even more compliant and need to have higher protection and compliance levels than transactional bankings. That's why we are seeing increased disclosure procedures and documents. So basically, for you to open a wealth account, or for you to maintain one, it doesn't mean, like, if you already have one, it doesn't mean that these new requirements don't apply to you. You have to comply with the new requirements, right? So it means that they are asking for more questions. For example, where is the money coming from, the source of income, and this is a common question. It was a common question before, but they are going into more details for asking you to explain the business. Where are your clients coming from? Where is the money coming from? How is the business set up? Like, lots more details than we are used to, basically. It's come to a certain point where, like, some might even think that it's going to be soon become like a luxury for people who already have a wealth account, because it's going to be very difficult to open it for new people. So, like, if you're thinking about doing something, I would just get started on this as soon as possible, because the overall trend is that it's becoming increasingly difficult and the criteria is becoming stricter and stricter with this. One other thing that we also noticed, and this doesn't apply to every region and every country, but it's a trend that is becoming really obvious right now, is some banks are and some jurisdictions are going more regionalized. For example, like Singapore banks would prefer to work with Southeast Asian customers more than somebody from Europe. This is also a trend. Now, it doesn't mean that they will not work with people from other region, but it means that they are going to be asking more questions, or maybe they are going to be asking for higher minimum balance for you to maintain. Like, for example, Singapore bank may open a bank account with 1 million as a minimum balance for somebody from Asia. For the European customer, they may demand like $5 million or something like that. So it's still possible, but there is this trend of seeing regionalization in wealth management banking. Now, we can also say that maybe US is an exception to that, because US banks are generally more open to international, like, we do not see a trend of wealth management banks in the US being regionalized as of now, so we'll see if they will maintain that or not. Overall, and this is for both transactional banking and wealth management banking, the trend is that compliance and KYC procedures are becoming more strict, and this is a reflection of the overall global process of everybody paying attention and trying to be transparent with the money and the money movement, and making sure that everybody is following anti-money laundering policies, especially in the finance and banking sections. So this is something that we are seeing consistently. In addition to that, we are seeing also enhanced due diligence procedures. So the banks are currently checking more information about any potential customer. That can be anything in regards to, like, being a politically exposed person, for example. Like they maybe would ask a question previously too, but right now your answer really can determine if you are going to get an account or not. And one trend that also really supports everything that we spoke about before is the development in the tech industry. So with these new opportunities, technical opportunities that banking sector has with them, it is more easy for them to really double check and cross check certain items that we as customers are providing to them. That's why we always tell our clients that it's very important to be transparent, because there are other ways banks can get the information, and you hiding things are going to look even worse. Like there are situations where you just don't know that it's important, and that's like can be explained on some level, but overall the trend is that they are digging really into a lot of details, and it's important to provide all the information. You can comment in the comment section and tell us what your thoughts are, but I don't think that it's gonna really go back to where it was less strict. So if you guys are thinking about opening a bank account, I think that the now is the best time, because tomorrow you don't know what kind of new regulations you may face in any given country. Thank you for watching the video, and we are going to make sure to keep you guys updated about new trends with offshore banking.